Hello everyone, good morning. Today's lecture will start the unit number 3. The name of the unit number 3 is Design of Belt Conveyor System for Material Handling. Last lecture we have completed unit number 2. We will going on the unit number 3. Design of Belt Conveyor System for Material Handling Equipment. Okay, you know that the growth of the factory or industry, or we can say the plant size, has created the huge demand of the material handling system, right? Material handling process, you know the how to going on that material handling process. There are consist of a so many activity. I will define that material handling process consists of with the help of three activity. Okay, first what we will do, picking up the load, picking up the load. Second activity is transporting the load. Once you have pick up, then you can transport the load. And third is a setting the load down, setting the load down. Very simple, you should remember that three activity. Okay, first is a picking up the load, second is a transporting the load, and third is a setting the load down. Okay, what is the material handling cost? You know what is the range of the material handling cost? Material handling cost range from the 10% to the 35% of the cost of the product. Okay, whatever may be cost of the product. Okay, that range of the material handling cost is 10% to 35%. Okay, what is the primary function of the material handling engineer? Okay, you know that what is the primary function of the material handling engineer? The primary function of the material handling engineer is to minimize the material handling cost. Okay, to minimize the material handling cost. It is said that you know that the best handling is the least handling. Remember that. Then we'll see the concept of the material handling. What is the system concept of the material handling? First, material handling system must be satisfy the different conditions. There is a first condition. Remember that conditions. The solution of the material handling problem should not transfer to the problem into the other area of the product cycle. Okay, we are getting the solution of the material handling problem, they should not transfer to the other area into the product cycle, other product cycle. This is the first system concept. Second is the solution should not be prone. Okay, prone means what? Ardhavut. Okay, the solution should not be prone to rapid obsolescence. Okay, the solution third is a the solution should not should be the solution should be simple as possible and easy to adopt. Okay, this is the third one. Then fourth one, the solution should not only resolve the immediate problem. Okay, solution should not resolve the immediate problem but also take care of the problem for a reasonably long period of a time. It should be able to account for a future expansion, or we can say the modification without unreasonable cost. Okay, sometimes what happen, we are think about only the immediate problem, but you have to think about the future also. What is the future expansion and what is the modification without adding the unreasonable cost. Okay, this is the one of the system concept. Then next one is the solution should be such that the initial cost, okay, this is very important, initial cost as well as operational cost should be minimum. Okay, operation and initial cost should be minimum. And last one, the rate of return on investment should be justify the solution. Okay, whatever may be invest, the rate of return on investment should be justify that solution. This is the system concept for the material handling. There is a different thing coming under the material handling. First is the movement is there, or we can say the storage, control, protection of materials, goods, products. Throughout the process of that manufacturing is there, distribution is there, consumption, disposal. All these are coming under the material handling. Okay, all of you getting the little bit idea what is the material handling system. Okay, then next is a we'll see the details of the classification of the material handling equipment. Okay, there there are the classification of the material handling system or equipment. There are three groups. Okay, we'll see the details. First is a there is a hoisting equipment is there, hoist is there. Okay, second is a conveying equipment is there, and third is a surface and overhead is there. Surface and overhead is there. Okay, and there is a this is the conventional type of the material handling system. And what is the computer aided type of the material handling system? There these are coming under the two category, again robots and AGVS system. Robot and AGVS system. Okay, we'll see the details. You know the hoisting equipment. Again that hoisting equipment coming under the there are different types of the hoisting machine are there, cranes are there, elevators are there. Okay, we'll see one by one. Hoisting equipment, again see that there is a hoisting machine. We can say the different types of the jacks are there, pulleys, portable hand hoist, traveling power operated hoist. Okay, they are using under the hoisting machine is there. And what is the cranes? Cranes, see there is a portable jeep cranes are shown in that picture. Okay, jeep crane is there. Jeep crane with again rotary pillar is added. Okay, again sometimes stationary cranes we are use with the turntable. Then gantry cranes are there are different types of the cranes we are use. Okay, and third is a elevator is there. Elevators, you know that elevators, there is a cage elevator is there, then vertical skip elevator is there, manually propelled or stackers are there. Okay, this is coming under the elevator. This is the hoisting equipment. Okay, when we use that hoisting equipment, there are hoist equipment are group of the device with lifting gear used for the first moving the load in the vertical direction. See that moving the load in a vertical direction. Okay, then as well as transferring them from one point to the another point in horizontal direction, means we want to the move lift the load with the help of that crane in vertical direction and move the load in horizontal direction within the coverage area of the equipment. Okay, there is a limitation. Okay, you can move the one point to the another point, but distance having the limitation. These are mainly used for the unit loads. What is again unit loads is nothing but there is a two types of the load, unit load and bulk load. Unit load is a rigid single mass is there. Okay, for example, different types of the machines are there, boxes are there, containers are there. This is coming under the unit load. That type of the load we can transfer with the help of hoisting equipment. Okay, for example, move the load in batches also. Chain pulleys are there, cranes are there, elevators are there. We have seen this. Okay, then next one is a second one is a conveying. Conveying, what is the conveying? There is a conveying equipment, or we are using the different types of the conveyor. This conveyor are again the group of the device. Okay, group of the device which no lifting gear, there is a no any lifting gear. Okay, we can use the shown in the picture, belt is there, chain conveyor is there, screw conveyor is there. Already you have studied that conveyor. Okay, but we'll say that this is the continuous flow of the bulk or unit load. Both types of the load we can transfer with the help of conveying. Okay, this is used for the moving load in horizontally, or we can say the inclined direction, along the fixed path in the continuous flow. There is a continuous flow. If you have taken the example of the belt, see, here we are load the material, then here is a discharge point. Means there is a, this path is fixed in a continuous flow, right? You can move the material in horizontally as well as inclined direction. Okay, mainly used for the bulk load means bulk load is nothing but the it is the consist of the large number of the homogeneous particle, or we can say the lump sum of any material. Okay, there are example of sand, stone are there, clay is there, cement is there, coal is there, different types of the minerals is there. Okay, this type of load we can convey with the help of belt conveyor. Okay, these are used in the automobile industry. Okay, also used in the processing line in production units. Okay, example of the conveyor, there are chain conveyor, flat belt conveyor is there, screw conveyor is there. Okay, blanket conveyor, belt conveyor is there. Different types of the conveyor we are used for the transfer moving the material in horizontal as well as inclined direction. Okay, then next one is a third part is a uh, which is the third, surface and overload equipment. Okay, overhead equipment, surface and overhead equipment. See, if you have checked that in the types of the surface and overhead equipment, we are using the trackless trucks. Okay, or we can say the narrow gear car is there, overhead truckage system is there. Okay, here shown in the picture. Okay, we can use this trackless truck for moving the material from one place to the another place. Surface and overhead equipment. When you moving the load on the ground, the moving the load in only the horizontal direction on overhead trucks. Okay, these are not providing with lifting the gears. Okay, there is a example I have already told. Trackless truck is there, narrow gauge cars we are using for transfer moving the load in the horizontal direction. Okay, this is the classification. Here is a robots, you know, the robots and AGVS system. This is the automation system, automatic system. We can give the command, and there are different types of the robot are used. Click and place robot are there. We are given the timing, and there is a restriction of the area. They are moving in this area only. Okay, to move the load. They are picking the load, then transporting the load and setting the load down. They have given the distance, horizontal distance, vertical distance. Hmm? All these things are computerized. Okay, in the AGVS and robotics system. Okay, this is the classification of the material handling system. Okay, all of you getting the material handling system. Then next thing is a we know the objective. Okay, this is the most important part is a objective of the material handling system. What is the objective of the material handling system? First objective is to increase the efficiency of the material flow. Okay, we want to the increase the efficiency of the material. First is a, you have to check the accuracy in transporting the load to the destination. Okay, there you have to decide the fair degree of the position of the accuracy. Okay, when you transfer the load uh, to his destination, then you have to check the accuracy. If there is a fail in between the picking point to the setting point. Okay, this accuracy is important. Okay, second is a precision in pickup of the load. precision, you know the accuracy and precision already you have learned in the MQC subject. Okay, first, what is the uh, activity? There is a first activity is they pick up the load from their position within the short time. Okay, you have to pick up the load from their position within the short time with minimum human intuition. Okay, or minimum human power. Okay, this is the precision in pickup of the load. Third is a transporting the load in scheduled time. You have to move the load to their destination in scheduled time. There is then you will get the efficiency. Okay, otherwise you don't get the efficiency. Okay, transporting the load in scheduled time. You have given the one schedule, this time you have to complete that process. Okay, you have to move the load their destination in scheduled time. Then again transporting the load of the required quantity, whatever may be quantity you have given. Okay, that quantity you have to deliver the load to the department, or we can say the place required quantity. Okay, if you have given any department that load and required the quantity, then you have to deliver that loads to that department, or we can say the place required quantity. It is very important that are affecting the performance of the plant, especially in continuous flow of the bulk load. Okay, in a continuously flow of the bulk load. If there is a, if you have not provide the required quantity to that department, they are affecting on the your efficiency. Okay, again there is a most important part is a transporting the load without the damage. Okay, then see, you should not damage the load at the time of the loading, unloading, or we can say the transporting. There are three activity, you know that. First we will pick up the load, means what we are loading the loading. Then second is a moving the load from one place to the another place, or we can say the transportation. And third is a setting the load, means unloading the load. That should not damage that load at the time of that three activity. Remember that. Then next is a automation in minimum manpower. Okay, there is a automation is there. That's why we can minimize the manpower requirement for the operational control is there. Okay, cost should be initial cost and operational cost, or we can say the running cost. Okay, that should have the low cost. Okay, or minimum cost. Okay, and simplicity and easy maintenance. Okay, to reduce the material handling cost, already I have told, low initial and operational cost should have low initial as well as the running cost of that material handling system. To improve the facility utilization. Okay, means you have given the simplicity and easy maintenance. Okay, should have the simple arrangement. Okay, then there are three classifications we have seen types. Fastening is there, conveyor is there, surface is there, surface overhead is there. Different types of the equipment we are use. They are assembled from the standard unit. Okay, there are all the equipments are assembled from the standard unit, because standardization improve the performance and reduce the cost. Again if you want to the any type of the servicing, then there is a standardization is convenient. Okay, and also you can easily repair and replace in the minimum maintenance. Okay, then see, to improve the safety and working condition, all these are coming under the that operational safety is there, right? Should be safe in operation. Okay, it should have sufficient number of inbuilt safety devices, means there is a alarm is there, siren is there, fencing is there, coupling guard is there, okay, uh, etc. All these things are adding in the operational safety. Okay, safety. Then you can improve the safety and working condition to facilitate manufacturing process to increase the productivity. If you follow that objective, then you can easily improve the productivity of the material handling system. If you are not follow, then there is some product, you can't improve the productivity. Okay. Also, our aim is to reduce the material handling cost. This cost should be range is 10% to the 35% of the, I have told already, of the cost of the product. Okay, this is the primary function of the engineer, to minimize the cost of the material handling. Okay, all of you getting what is the objective of the material handling system? There is a accuracy is very important, precision when you picking the load, then transportation load in schedule time, transportation load in required quantity, transporting load without damage, automation in minimum manpower, low initial and operational cost to improve the facility utilization, to facilitate manufacturing process, to improve safety and working conditions. Okay, they all are simplicity and easy maintenance. Then again we are concentration on the operational safety. This is the objective of the material handling system. Okay, all of you getting that what is the advantages of the conveyor and disadvantages? See, there is a continuous flow is there. Okay, then conveyor should ensure the steady and sufficient supply of the material to processing unit, or we can say the site. Already we have seen the one objective. Okay, this limitation of the conveyor, we'll think about that. Conveyor can handle the material only along the fixed route. If you are given the fixed route, that route only conveyor can handle the material, right? This is the one of the disadvantage or limitation of the conveyor. Okay, then next one, this is unsuitable for the heavy unit loads. Heavy unit loads. Okay, because when you keeping or kept the load on the belt, this is an unbalance. Okay, that's why this is the one more disadvantages. Okay. Mm, then we'll see the different application. Before going on that application, you know the guidelines for the selection of the material handling system. What is the guidelines for the selecting the material handling system? This is very important. What is the guidelines for selection of the material handling system? There is a product type, bar stock package is there. Okay, pallet load unit is there, product weight is there, product size is there. Means you have to consider the cubic volume of the product nature is there. Okay, product volume is there. Then again speed requirement, accumulation requirement, distance for transfer, okay, frequency of movement, flexibility of process route, loading and unloading requirement, and safety aspect. This some points are given for the guidelines for the selection of material handling, or we can say the principle in selecting the material handling system. When you using the material handling equipment, they are manufactured in the large variety of the design. Okay, there are different types of the material handling system can be used for the same operation. Okay, factors will I have read that factor, different factor consider while selecting the material handling system, or guidelines for the selection of material handling system. We'll see the first important is a, first you have to check the direction of the load travel. Okay, in which direction the load is travel. We'll see the in this guidelines there is a worsening equipment. Already I have explained this classification. Okay, containerization. Okay, guidelines of a material selecting material handling equipment. Objective we have seen, there is a objective. Guidelines say these guidelines are given. Direction of the load travel. Okay, direction of the load travel, this is very important guideline. If the direction of the load travel vertical or close to the vertical, we can say the equipment is used, or you have to choose the correct equipment. If the direction of the load travel in vertical direction, then you have to choose the hoist is there, crane is there, or elevator is there. Okay, for the vertical direction. If the load travel in the horizontal or close to the horizontal direction, then we have seen there are a various types of the conveyors are used. We have seen in the classification. Okay, direction of the load travel, there are three direction. First is a vertical direction. If there are a vertical direction, you have to use the hoist, crane, or elevator. If you have given the horizontal direction or incline, you have to use the conveyor or use. Conveyor or use. Okay. Then next is a length of the load travel. Length of the load travel. You have to check the length range. What is the okay length of the load travel? There is a again we are use length of the load travel. You have to check the range. If there is a short distance 10 to 10 or 100 meter, or occasionally 1000 meter, then you have to use the conveyor or use. Okay, if the length are large, then we are using the conveyor or use. Conveyor or use. Okay, if there is a small length, okay, length of the travel is a very small, then we are use the hoist or crane are use, because we have seen in the classification of the there hoist when we use the hoist, this is the transferring the load from the one point to the another in the horizontal direction within the coverage area of the equipment. Within the coverage area of the equipment means coverage area is very small of that equipment, then you have to use the hoist or crane or use. Okay, then next is a type and property of the load to be handled. Okay, types and property of the loads to be handled. You have to check the types and property of the load to be handled. First, I have given the example. If there is a hoisting machine are suitable for a unit load, then you have to use the hoisting machine is there. If for the bulk load there is a conveyor are suitable, then you have to use the conveyor. Okay, if you want to the move the load within the coverage area of the equipment, then you have to use the hoist is there. Hoist is there. You can use the crane, you can use the elevators as per the requirement. That's why you have to choose the types of the load to be handled. Okay, first divide that which type of load is to be handled. Bulk load is there or unit load is there. Then as per that you have to travel in which direction, you have to check vertical, horizontal or inclined. As per that you have to choose the equipment. Okay, then property of the unit loads are there are different property of the loads. If you have take the unit loads, then there we are consider the weight of the product. Okay, then convenient we want to the check the support of the surface, or we can say the convenient bearing surface. Then we want to the check the again suspension, you have to check the part for suspension. Then different types of the property, there are brittleness, hardness is there, surface finishing is there, temperature is there. These are all the properties are coming under the unit load. Okay, remember that property, and as per that property you have to choose the again types of the equipment. Then next is a property of the bulk load. If you have given the bulk load, the you know the what is mean by bulk load. Bulk load having the lump sum size. Okay, then you have to check the lump size. You have to check the density. Also you have to check the temperature and different chemical properties. Okay, this is coming under the bulk load. Okay, all of you getting what is the type and property of the load to be handled. There are two types of the load to be handled, unit load and bulk load, as per in your syllabus. Okay, remember that how to segregate that unit load and bulk load property. Then next one is a required load moving capacity of unit. Okay, what is the meaning of required load moving capacity of unit? Yeah, there are two capacity of that moving load. Okay, there is a one is the low capacity and other is a high capacity. If the capacity of the material is a low, then say you can use the electrically operated overhead is there, traveling cranes are there, or we can say the there is a power driven trucks you can use. Okay, if the capacity is low, okay, then you have the option you can use the electrically operated overhead, traveling cranes, or we can say the power driven trucks can be used. Okay, if the capacity is large, or we have seen then which equipment will use, there is a continuous flow type device. Okay, like we can use the conveyor. Okay, if the capacity is large, in sugar industry we have to send that sugar to the god one. Okay, or move the sugar from the sugar industry to the god one. Okay, the size and the weight of that sugar, this is up to the 1000 kg. We want to the move that, because this is the heavy, we'll use the conveyor. We'll use the conveyor. Okay, then next is a characteristics of the production process. Characteristics of the production process, uh, you have seen in the industry there are different departments are there, assembly lines. Okay, assembly lines are there, and we can say the paint shop. In the assembly line, if you have seen, then we are using only the air conveyor, because we want to the continuously move the material. Okay, then we are using only the conveyors. Also in the paint shop, if you have seen in the paint shop, okay, there also we are using the conveyors. Okay, if there is a suppose you have given the forging and welding shop is there. Okay, for example there is a forging department and welding shop is there, then we are using the employee cranes, because we want to the lift. Okay, by the forklift. Okay, that material and settle move this material and settle down. Okay, as per the requirement. Okay, because this forging and welding parts are very hot. Okay, temperature is more than 100 degrees celsius, then you can't move with the help of the conveyors and other things. You have to use the employees crane only. Okay, in the mines, uh, what we'll use, there we require the vertical load as well as the horizontal load to convey. Okay, that mine, then we are using only the conveyors and elevators. Okay, elevators also we can use in the different types of the malls. Okay, then next is a method of stacking load. Method of stacking load at initial and final points. Okay, there are different methods are given for the stacking load at the initial and final points. First, what we'll do, we'll do first selection of the loading and unloading point. Means when you choose the stacking loads at the initial and final point, you have to choose the selection of the loading and unloading point. These 2 points are very important. where is the loading point and unloading point, you have to set that. Okay, then after that you have to check that which load we want to the stored. Okay, there are two types, bulk load or unit load. If you bulk load are stored, then we want to the use the conveyors are used. Okay, I have given the example of the sugar factory. We want to the stored this bulk load in the good one, then we want to the use the only conveyor. Okay, in the sugar factory. Then if there is a unit load, okay, uh, suppose we want to the place the material on the first floor, then what we'll use, we are using the cranes or hoist. Okay, we can use. Okay, if you have given the unit load are placed on the first floor, then you have to use the cranes or hoist use. Okay, then what is the local conditions is nothing but the you have to check the size and shape of the given material or area of the material. Okay, when you place or settle, then how much area is occupied, you have to check size shape of the area. Second thing, you have to check the type and design of building. Type and design of building. Okay, as per that type and design of building, we'll use the different types of the material handling equipment. Then again we require the safety conditions. The safety requirements is there, already we have seen in the objective is there. Objective of the material handling system, there is a operational safety. uh, it should have sufficient number of a built safety device. Alarm is there. Okay, siren is there, fencing is there, then again coupling guard is there. Okay, pinion guard is there. There are different types of the safety requirements are there. Okay, then types of the energy available. Okay, what type of the equipment we want to the run, okay, or use. As per that you have to types of the check the types of the energy available, which type of the energy is available. And last is a climatic condition. Okay, climatic condition, you have to check the again climate conditions of the climate. Okay, then last is a initial and operational cost. When you selecting the material handling equipment, this is the most important while selecting of the material handling equipment. This initial and operational cost should be low, should be low, or we can say should have low initial as well as a running cost. This is the guidelines, or we can say the principle in selecting the material handling equipment. This is very important, you have to remember that. Okay, that guidelines, sometimes in the examination you will ask the principle or guidelines in selecting of the material handling equipment. Okay, the next thing we'll see in the next lecture. Today we'll stop here. You have to remember that only that thing, very simple unit is given. First is the direction of the load travel, is horizontal or vertical. Length of the load travel, the length you have to check the large length or small length. As per that you have to choose the choose the equipment. Types and property of the load to be handled. Types, there are two types, unit load and bulk load. And property for the unit load and bulk load, what is the property, already I have explained. Required load moving capacity of the unit, you have to check the capacity of the unit. If there is a large capacity or low capacity, then you have to choose as per that capacity the material handling equipment. Then characteristics of the production process, there is a, I have given example of the assembly line, paint shop is there, forging and welding shop is there. Okay, as per that you have to, as per your requirement, you have to choose the material handling equipment. What is the characteristics of that material? You have to check that. Then method of stacking load, initial and final points. Okay, first important thing is you have to select the loading and unloading point under the method of stacking load and initial and final points. Okay, then again they are converted into the uh, bulk and unit load. Okay, then you have to choose the equipment. Then local condition, there are 5 local conditions. You have to check the size and shape of that area, types and design of building, then safety requirements are there, types of energy available is there, climate conditions are there, and last is the initial and operational cost. Most important thing is the, while selecting the material handling equipment, you have to consider the initial and operational cost. Okay, all of you getting? Yes. Today we'll stop here. Next lecture we'll see the remaining part of the unit number 3. Okay, thank you.